I have tried around 100 Middle Eastern perfume releases this year. These are my top 10. These are the most standout new Middle Eastern perfume releases this year. Now, I have reviewed all of these fragrances in my channel, so I will just go through them quickly. On the 10th spot is AZM by Paris Corner. This is a creamy, sweet, white florals that is very likable. It is a spot-on dupe of 100 Silent Ways by Nichane, and this is around 95 to 98% close to 100 Silent Ways, guys. So as a dupe, I highly recommend it. It is not something groundbreaking. Actually, it is giving more of like a designer vibes because of the way the white florals are done in here. This is mainly jasmine and tuberose. The pear and the peach are also prominent in this fragrance. So I will say it is a creamy, sweet, white, floral, and fruity scent. Longevity is amazing on this one. Lasts more than 8 hours. I highly recommend it if you are into creamy, sweet, white florals and fruity fragrances. On the 9th spot is Maleka by Armaf under the Club de Nuit collection. It is a beautiful blend of lychee, pink pepper, orris, piney, and rose. I absolutely love this fragrance. It was a love at first sniff for me. It reminds me a lot of Perfumes de Marly's Delina La Rose with a touch of Xerjoff's Dama Bianca. So imagine the orris and iris combo in Dama Bianca. You'll get it in here. Plus the watery texture of Delina La Rose by Perfumes de Marly. I highly recommend it if you are into roses and orris scents in your fragrances. This is very feminine leaning, very elegant, perfect for daily use. Performance is outstanding, lasts more than 8 hours, especially on clothes. Once again, on the 9th spot, Maleka by Armaf. On the 8th spot is Omniya by Arabiyat Prestige. Now, this is a very close dupe of Guidance by Amouage. It is so close to the point that it also has a rough opening, same like Guidance. So having said that, big contrast between saffron, fruitiness of pear, and nuttiness of hazelnut. So it's nutty, sour, a very complex fragrance, not for everyone, but I think if you are into rose and woody fragrances, you will love Omniya. The final dry down of this is very similar to Guidance. Like, I couldn't believe it. It has the creamy sandalwood, nutty hazelnut, powdery rose, and slight incense nuance in the background. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a unique smelling rose and woody scent from the Middle Eastern market. The kind of rose that I get from here is a little bit powdery, so a lot of contrast going on in this fragrance because it is nutty, tart, powdery, and woody at the same time. Highly recommend it if you are looking for an affordable dupe of Guidance. Performance, once again, is amazing on this one. This is not as beastly as Guidance. However, it is still very good because it lasted me around like 5 to 7 hours. Such a great release, Omniya by Arabiyat Prestige. On the 7th spot is quite new in my collection. However, I was blown away how good and how close it smells like to the perfume that it is duping. Art of Arabia 1 by Lattafa. This is such a fresh, spicy tea scent, and basically it is duping Louis Vuitton's Imagination. Guys, I have tried around 3 other dupes of Imagination, and in my opinion, Art of Arabia 1 is the closest. I love how it captured the bright, fresh, and citrusy green opening of Imagination. The final dry down is a spicy tea and soapy scent. I think this is an amazing unisex fragrance. I was blown away how full-bodied it smells like. Because what I noticed with a lot of freshies from the Middle Eastern market, they tend to be musky, especially in the dry down, and that kind of musk actually disturbed my nose. Just like what happened to Art of Universe. This is not part of today's video. However, I know a lot of you love this fragrance, but it didn't work out for me. Apparently, this is duping Blue Talisman, but this is not a dupe of Blue Talisman at all. And there's something about this fragrance that keeps disturbing my nose. I have this fragrance for a while. I thought it just needed to mature. However, I have this for almost a month now and it improved, but there's something very musky and mothbally about it that I'm not really liking. However, I didn't get that kind of screechy muskiness in Art of Arabia. This just smells so fresh, spicy. It's a soapy tea scent that smells so fresh and clean. Longevity and projection, I would say though, is moderate, okay? There's nothing beastly about it. This lasted me around 4 to 6 hours. My husband is loving this fragrance as well, and I'm loving it on him too. Anyway, guys, I highly recommend this fragrance if you're still looking for a very good dupe of Louis Vuitton's Imagination. Art of Arabia won by Lattafa on the 7th spot. On the 6th spot is another freshie that captivated me, Voux Zingy by Paris Corner. Now, this fragrance is so beautiful, very herbal, green, minty, and aromatic, perfect for those extremely hot and humid days. If you still don't know, this is a dupe of Xerjoff's Torino 21, and this is a kind of dupe that I highly recommend. This is so close to the point that I crossed out Torino 21 on my wish list. Yes, that's how much I love this fragrance. This is fresh, minty, and citrusy. The basil gave this fragrance aromatic and herbally quality that may not appeal to a lot of people. However, I love it. I love that it gave me minty toothpaste feel because it is so refreshing. It is very unisex as well. So having said that, you can share it in your household. Performance is moderate, lasted me around 4 to 6 hours. However, not complaining. This is a kind of scent that I would love to respray every now and then because it is so cool and refreshing. Once again, on the 6th spot, Emir Voux Zingy by Paris Corner. All right, down to top 5. On the 5th spot, I chose Luxe Nightlife by Maison Alhambra. If you still don't know, this is a dupe of Bond number 9 New York Nights. I haven't tried that fragrance, but honestly, if New York Nights smells like Luxe Nightlife, then I don't need the expensive version because this smells expensive. Powdery white florals sweetened up by caramel with a beautiful coffee nuance in the background. It also has that marine quality that gave this fragrance a unisex vibes. I absolutely love it. I don't have anything like this in my collection, and I think you will love this fragrance if you are into caramel and coffee combos. I love the bittersweet facet of this fragrance, and when you throw the white florals and the marine notes in here, it made it even more special. I imagine having a floral bath while having caramel bars and sipping coffee. I absolutely love this fragrance. I think this will shine more during fall and winter time. It is a beautiful floral winter gourmand. And yeah, I am quite obsessed with this fragrance actually. And I know a lot of you have received this fragrance after my recommendation and you are loving it as well. Now, performance-wise, moderate, and I'm talking about 4 to 6 hours. Not beastly, however, I'm not complaining. Really, really loving this scent. Once again, on the 5th spot, Luxe Nightlife by Maison Alhambra, and this is a unisex fragrance. All right, on the 4th spot is my new favorite from Paris Corner, and this is Fayora. Basically, the kind of scent that you will get out of this fragrance is the vibe that you're getting from the bottle. This is a fruity, powdery orris and rose water scent that I am truly loving. Very feminine, very soft girl era kind of scent. This fragrance is fun and innocent at the same time. Apparently, this is duping Dama Bianca by Xerjoff. However, I don't find it as a dupe, but rather a perfume on its own. It definitely has that Dama Bianca DNA. However, I love the addition of passion fruit and kind of like rose water essence in this fragrance. I think if you're the type who's into soft, feminine, girly kind of scents, you will love Fayora. This was love at first sniff for me. A very beautiful blend of violet, orris, rose, water essence, and passion fruit. It smells so dreamy and pretty. I absolutely love it. Truly my #1 favorite from Paris Corner as of the moment. If you watch my channel, you know how much I love this fragrance, as I raved about it several times already. Once again, on the 4th spot, Fayora by Paris Corner, and this is definitely feminine leaning. On the 3rd spot, Nafais Sharq by Khadlaj. Now, I was quite blown away by this fragrance. Actually, I was blown away with the top 3 fragrances in this video. So this is more than love at first sniff. This fragrance basically is a gardenia heavy fragrance. However, it also has that sweet, fruity nuance coming from the apricot and pear. A sweet, fruity, floral fragrance with depth. A very well blended, fruity, floral scent that smells niche, in my opinion. Actually, this is very, very similar to something I owned, Basiami by Bulgari. And yes, I can confirm to you that they are very similar. However, with Nafais, I find this fragrance more sophisticated because I find Basiami more fun and flirty. I think Basiami is sweeter. And Nafais Sharq, in the final dry down, I find the florals more stand out, and it's just absolutely beautiful. If you are into creamy white florals, especially gardenia, you have to check out Nafais Sharq. It is grounded by amber, vanilla, and musk that gave this fragrance a strong base. And since I love it so much, this is my new favorite Khadlaj perfume. I will say very, very close to how much I love Empire Victor from the brand. Once again, Nafais Sharq, a very sweet, vanillic, floral, fruity scent that is perfect as a signature scent. This is something I will recommend if you are looking for a solid, fruity, floral perfume from the Middle Eastern market that smells expensive, yet very feminine and wearable. Performance is amazing on this one, lasts more than 8 hours, and I love it so much. Once again, Nafais Sharq by Khadlaj. On the 2nd spot, Axis by French Avenue. If you watch my channel, I have raved about this fragrance since I received it. Basically, this is a dark and sexy, smoky, woody vanilla that stands out. This definitely smells luxurious and expensive. Obviously, that's why it's in the top 2 in today's video. I love how the plum gave this fragrance a different kind of darkness. So having said that, it's not just the smokiness that gave that dark vibes. The plum is blended so well with the vanilla, labdanum, and amber. I would say if you are into dark amber and smoky, woody vanillas, you will definitely love Axis. This is a very unisex fragrance. Apparently, it is duping Vanille Antique by Byredo. I haven't tried that fragrance. However, I don't need to. I'm very impressed with Axis because this has niche quality, lasts on me more than 8 hours, projects and leaves an intoxicating scent trail. I love smelling this on my husband as much as I love wearing it myself. So yeah, this is truly one of my best discoveries this year. Axis by French Avenue on the 2nd spot. And the #1 Middle Eastern perfume release this year so far is, take a guess, pause, and write it in the comments. I feel like if you watch my channel, you will know that Dukhan is my number one. Primarily because this fragrance is original, and I appreciate when an affordable Middle Eastern perfume brand does their own scent. Basically, it is a flanker of Khamrah, which is loved by many, and Dukhan is just the sweeter, spicier, and incensey version of Khamrah. This is such a lovely and luxurious smelling, boozy, sweet scent that captured my heart. Not only it smells amazing, the performance as well is 10 out of 10. It lasts forever and it leaves an intoxicating scent trail. A beast mode fragrance, you don't really need to spray a lot because otherwise this can be quite polarizing. I love how incensey and spicy this fragrance smells like. Yes, it is very similar to Khamrah. However, as mentioned, it has an added incense, spices, more of like red pepper or like pimento kind of spice. It has that bright and fresh citrusy nuance coming from the mandarin orange. I love the fact that the mandarin orange also gave this fragrance that bright and fresh citrusy nuance. It's just in the background, making this fragrance fresh at the same time. I absolutely love it. A unique creation, very niche smelling, 10 out of 10 performing fragrance from the Middle Eastern market. Very unisex as well. Once again, Khamrah Dukhan by Lattafa. So that concludes my top 10 Middle Eastern perfume releases this year. For sure, I will do something similar at the end of the year. But yeah, so far, these are the top 10 that first came to mind when it comes to new Middle Eastern release that stood out to me. Now, I want to know, what do you think of them? If you have something in mind, please share it in the comments down below. Now, if you're new here and you want to learn more about Middle Eastern perfumes, then I have a playlist for you to binge watch over here. I have reviewed over hundreds of Middle Eastern perfumes in my channel, and I think you'll love them. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, guys, and see you on my next one. Bye!